My search to meet Britain's squatters has brought me to Bristol, which after London has become another mecca for squatting. Unofficial estimates say around 1,000 people are squatting in the city. And I'd heard they'd organised themselves into groups so they can squat more effectively. They've got their own shop, community centre, they've even got their own planning committee.
This is a meeting of the Bristol Housing Action Movement, BAM they call it, and they meet every week, and they meet just like a housing committee, except it's to do with squats.
After several weeks of negotiating, I'm finally being allowed into one of the meetings.
Hiya, thanks for seeing me.
Everyone in this room is, or has been, a squatter. They meet each week, trying to help people to find new places to live in, for free.
A bit like a kind of a planning committee, isn't it? It's like the alternative Bristol Planning Committee.
We're like the council, but more efficient.
Well,
we collect a levy, so anybody who's got any spare change, please put it in the middle. Yeah, whatever you can spare is fine.
This whip round pays for tools to make new squats habitable.
Okay, next on the agenda is homelessness. Anybody here homeless tonight? Anybody near?
A couple of last stragglers from New Street are homeless, but we're looking out for new buildings currently.
Okay,
we've got a couple of possibilities.
We've got a list of empties, and we can sort you out with a few places to go and look at.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah.
so am I right to assume that an empty is an unoccupied building, isn't it?
Yeah, and unlike any building that's not being used by anyone else.
So in that case, really, these weekly meetings are to rehouse homeless people in squats. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, the process of squatting is you occupy a building and then you get evicted, and then you occupy a building, you get evicted.
It's open to anyone. Anyone can come along, present themselves as homeless, and we'll try our best to sort them out. You don't need to be claiming housing benefits or signing on. You just turn up, you have a chat with us, and we see what we can do. We see if we can get you in any old squats, or we see if we can find you a new one, or if there's several different homeless people, we'll try and group them together to find a new place.
So how many people here then, sitting tonight, have been directly helped by this committee, if you like?
Yeah,
everybody. Yeah.
It's a community, that's what we do.
I like to sort of think of us as like urban wombles. We roam the streets.
You may like to think of this.
We look for things that aren't being used and we make a use of them. Yeah. How can you argue the moralities of that? Like when the banks, they're not poor, they own several properties, we use them for practical use. We don't pay rent, no, but at least, people aren't sleeping rough.
Apparently there are other groups like this around the country, actively scouting for empty properties to squat. As I split my time between homes in London and Cornwall, should I be nervous?
When people think squatters, they think, yeah, that's a family who go away on holiday, 2.4 children, and they come back and people have moved into the house and they look through the windows and they've changed the locks and they're drinking their wine and frying up the bacon. That is a public perception of squatting, isn't it?
What you've just described is always going to be against the law. It's burglary. Going into somebody's home, taking their possessions, creating your home out of their home is obviously going to be an issue. The simple fact of the matter is it's not what we do. We look at empty buildings, whether they're houses, whether they're industrial buildings. We try and create a useful home space out of those buildings.
But if groups like this help people who need somewhere to live, what about the owners and landlords whose properties they're occupying unlawfully? I